Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops who teach and rule well, who magnify the name of Yahweh, Bahashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. To all the believers, brothers, and prophets out there who magnify the name of Yahweh, Bahashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, who are exhorting the sheep and teaching with fear and reverencing the Most High Yahweh. Almighty Shalom to you as well. This is going to be a milk epistle, touching on the fundamental basics of keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, and obeying them, and how we do them. We'll go into it briefly, and we'll build our foundation upon the Holy Scriptures, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, to grab some witnesses and to have this message that comes forth out of the throne room repeated over and over and over again. First verse I just want to grab, like I said, it's just a real milk thing, and it needs to be taught over and over again. Not just go into the deep things in the scriptures, but come back to the basics, because there's still some little ones that need to be taught as well. And maybe there's some precepts in our arsenal that you haven't thought of or brought out, or you can add to exhorting, your household first and foremost, and then others. So when touching on keeping the commandments and hearkening onto the Most High Yahweh's voice, the first one usually I like to go into, a real simple one, would be found in the book of John. I'm over there in John 14, right? John 14 and 15. And it says, if you love me, keep my commandments. First and foremost, right off the top there, because if we jump, I don't have that written down, but if we jump into Exodus chapter 20, right? Where is it? Here it is. Exodus chapter 20. I'll start, I'll just, verse 6. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 6, it says, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. The Most High, upon giving Moses his commands to administer unto the children of Israel upon Mount Sinai, this is one of the verses, one of the things he had said, that if those that love me, I will show mercy upon those that keep my commandments. And it's it has never been done away with. This is instructions. These are instructions. The instructions were never abolished, but they were shown how to fulfill his commands. And we have the Messiah as evidence of that. So no one can ever say we can ever at least try to fulfill what was asked of us in obedience, right? So if you love me, keep my commandments. The next verse we'll go into is 1 John 5 and 3. And it says, for this is the love of the Most High Yahweh, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. So those two verses right there, John 14 and 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. 1 John 5 and 3, this is the love of the Most High Yahweh, if we keep his commandments. We keep his word. What's his word? You start from the beginning of the book and read all the way through. You'll have a full understanding of what is being asked of you individually to walk in the light of this understanding. I'm going to jump back to John, the book of St. John, chapter 15 and verse 10. It says, if you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. So right here, it's showing that the Messiah and the Father were in a cod, in sharing the same spirit and understanding, not this Euseminist unity, one God idea, but they're in agreement. They're in agreement. I'm going to jump over into the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, found in your Apocrypha. If you have one, please go get yourself one, because it is canon. It is canon. They do share the same spirit and truth. Sirach chapter 2 and verse 16, and it reads, "They that fear the Lord, Yahweh, will seek that which is well-pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law," or instruction, right? Be filled with his instructions, be filled with his wisdom and understanding, so that way you can walk in the light of it and not to be ensnared by the things that can cause irreparable damage unto you and your loved ones. You know, he keeps us covered if we abide in him, right? First John, we'll jump into First John 3 and verse 4. "Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is transgression of the law." So we're building an understanding of what sin is to the Father. Many people may say, you know, I try not to sin, or I don't sin, or I sin. You have to be able to identify what sin is according to the scriptures, because that is the only way for you to understand what you should be repenting for, if upon those moments that you may sin accidentally, because there is sins that are that you're able to have repentance for, and there's sins that are sins unto death. Once you have understood what sin is and understand his commands, upon sinning, there is no more repentance for you for that sin. You can't keep committing adultery, idolatry, and all these other things that he tells us to abstain from. Fornication, all these things. So that was First John 3 and 4. So transgression of the law. Transgression of the law is sin. So if you are not understanding what his ways are, you are definitely in sin. You do not have the cloak to cover you. Do not have the armor to fight off sin. You're actually allowing sin in through the eyes, into your spirit, all those things. You don't have a cloak for it. So if you're not keeping the commandments, you are walking lawless and according to the behaviors and the mindset of this world. You're taking on the image of this system, this beast system. Keep that in mind. Deuteronomy. We'll go to Deuteronomy. Jeez Louise. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 9. "Know therefore that Yahweh thy Elohim, he is the power, the faithful power, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations." Generation after generation after generation, this word will never be abolished. It is the light and understanding of life for the entire duration that man will walk on this earth. So from generation to generation, he will show mercy and compassion unto those that love him. How do you love him? You keep his commandments. And you keep his commandments by hearkening and obeying unto the word. Right? Makes sense? Verse 11. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. To do them. Verse 13. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb and the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks of thy sheep in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Right? So if you obey him and love him and keep his commandments according to his word and not someone else's version of truth, but study for yourself, study diligently, and seek out the scriptures and seek truth from those who are administering truth, especially in this hour, to build your foundation up, because Hasatan can bless you too. You can be blessed to the point where scales are now covering your eyes and shielding you from the truth, actual truth. That can happen. I've seen it. Matthew chapter 22. Matthew chapter 20. This is why you diligently need to seek out those who have the understanding of prophecy, because you could be rocked back to sleep and building up a situation that is only going to be a detriment to your very salvation. Matthew chapter 22, verse 37. 37. And Yahushua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all your heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. And that is the first and great commandment. So that's an introduction into how to be obedient and to receive blessing and the love of the Father in you, on you, and everything that encompasses you, by hearkening unto his word. Right? Joshua 1 and 8. Joshua 1 and 8. Oh, I think I have it right here. Nope. Joshua 1 and 8. It says, This is the book of the law. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Right? So this is just going to be an introductory epistle into keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And I hope this was edifying. And we'll pick it back up. We'll make a part 2 of this video to continue on and building this understanding. Until the next time, this is your brother Ephraim Ban Yasha Allah. Shalom.